Hi, Brian. Oceana here with G3 Agency with your free website audit for Paver Savers in Denver, Colorado. I love that name, by the way. In this free SEO website audit provided by G3 Agency, I'm going to show you 3 to 4 things that you can do to get Paver Savers in front of the people who are searching for paver laying and repair services in the Denver metro area. Like I said to Natasha on the phone, I don't expect anything in return for this video. I would love some feedback from you on whether it was helpful and clear at the end of it, just to let me know so I can improve for the next person. I do this stuff professionally, so my opinion is valid, or my take on things. But this is something that I'm doing because I really love locally owned businesses, especially family-owned businesses, the little guy. So this is my way of just kicking back and giving to the world in a way for my karmic feel good, right? Okay, so I'm just going to jump right in there, try not to waste any of your time. Okay, so the first thing that I always check for when I audit a website is for a big click to call number, and you have got it. Well done. That's rare, and it's very helpful for the 70% of visitors that will be on their mobile phone. The next thing I look for is content. How many words are on the page, and are they relevant? And also, how are the images saved? By the way, I looked at these images for a very long time, looking through them. I mean, they're just really beautiful. You do some really great work. But anyway, back to it. So you do not have enough words on your homepage, I'll tell you that right now. We really suggest to our clients that they have 3,000 or more words on the home page and 1,500 or more on the other pages, because Google thinks more content means more knowledge, so you must be more relevant, and that's going to help you stand out above the competition. And then also, if I right click on an image, click Save Image As, I can see that you saved this image as CR equals W blah, blah, blah. So that's not helping you. What you want to do is actually resave all these pictures, but this time save them as words that are actually being searched for on Google by people looking for your services in your area. And I'll show you how to find out what those key phrases are that you want to save them as. But first, I'm going to show you the tool. So this is Ahrefs. This is a tool that my agency uses to get an in-depth look into how a website is performing. So we have here your UR score and your DR score. Your UR score stands for URL rating. And it says, on a scale from 0 to 100, how credible or trustworthy does Google think that your web page is, this exact one? And so in this case, it's your home page, and you've got a 13 out of 100. That's pretty typical. And then your DR score is the same thing, but for your entire website as a whole. So, and that one's a 7. So it looks like you've put a little bit more work into your home page than your entire site as a whole, which is pretty typical. And then here we have your backlinks and referring domains. This is how we raise this score. So this is telling me what backlinks and referring domains you have. Basically, a backlink is a link from any other website that comes back to your site, and what it does is it lends you credibility from their site. So if that's a site that is relevant and has good UR and DR scores, then that's going to help bring your score up. But if it's irrelevant and or has very low scores, then that's actually going to bring your credibility down, and it's not going to help. So you want to be careful, but you do want to increase these numbers. And then we go over here to the organic keywords and organic traffic. So organic keywords, of course, is anything that a person could type into Google and have you show up in the first 100 results. Unfortunately, being in the 11th result is just about as bad as not existing at all, because hardly anyone leaves the first page of Google before finding something or giving up. You really want to be in the top 10, which are displayed on that first page. And then not being on the first page is how you can end up having 11 keywords that you're showing up for, but you're only getting 4 traffic on average. So if we click here, we can see what you are showing up for. Paver Savers, your own name. You're currently sitting near the bottom of the first page, and that's your best keyword. You are increasing in that. You're headed in the right direction, so that's fantastic. But let's see, Brick Pavers Denver. Now that one's a decent one. The reason I like this keyword is because it has something that you do, brick pavers, and it shows the area you do it in. This is what we call a local keyword, and it is helpful. We've got 30 people searching for that every single month. It's got a keyword difficulty, or KD, of 4. And what a KD stands for keyword difficulty, and what it is a scale from 0 to 100. Again, how difficult does Ahrefs, this tool I'm using, think it will be to get to the first page of Google? So a score like 4 is actually pretty doable. We really like to go after 5 and below, but this keyword volume is pretty low at 30, so I'm going to help you find some keywords that are going to do you a little bit better. So I looked up, the main areas that I think you service. I typed in pavers, and I said please ignore NC and well, cowboy doesn't make any sense in this case because that was for cement, but there's something called concrete cowboy. I don't know what it is, but it keeps showing up in my searches, so I just excluded the word cowboy. Anyway, so Pavers Denver. It's got a keyword difficulty of 8. That's a little bit higher, but it's still within reach if you're willing to do the work. And then it's got a keyword volume of 150, which means that last month 150 different people typed Pavers Denver into Google. Whereas, System Pavers Denver, that's a competition of yours. I'm sure you recognize their name. They have a keyword difficulty of 0. Volume 60. So that's one that you can actually take advantage of. That's one that you could maybe save an image as and show up for that keyword and get in front of people when they're looking for your competition. And then there's Pavers Colorado Springs. That's not a competition one. I think that's just a nearby town. So that would be another 50. So you can see how these add up. Okay, so if I look at Pavers Denver on Google, here's what we get. Usually there's some ads here at the top, and they're not showing up for me right now, which is nice. Then, of course, we have the map pack. So how you end up in the map pack is a little different than how you end up in the organic. So I'll take a side note, tell you how. So basically, you want to go and make sure that your Google My Business listing is accurate. So specifically your name, address, and phone number. And you want to take that information once you know that the GMB, or Google My Business, is accurate. Then you take that information and you add it to different directories online. So Yelp, Yext, CityStar, White Pages, Yellow Pages, Facebook, etc. So you go to these different sites, you enter your information for your business, and that lends you credibility and basically says that while Google goes out and it looks at all those directories, it's going to take note of how many times you've been mentioned, and that's going to help you to push you to the top of the map pack. And if you end up in the top 3, you end up on the front page, which does really help with your visibility, and your website's just a click away. So these actually generally get about 10% each of the traffic that comes to this site. However, this is the most exciting place that you want to be. So this is what we call the #1 organic result. And it gets up at that 30% range of people who come to this site will click on that result. So that's really what we want to beat so that we can be in that spot. So if I put their information in here, I clicked on that link and took me here. So this is the page that we want to be out so that we can end up at the top. So first thing we look at, of course, is their content. How much content do they have? And they don't have anywhere near that 3,000 minimum that I was talking about. So that means that if we hit that 3,000 minimum, boom, that's really going to help us get in the spotlight here. And then another thing is I always look at their images to see what they're saved as, but they don't even have any images on this page. So we don't have to, I mean, that's another way that we can get ahead basically, is if you save your images properly, they don't even have any images to save properly, so that's another way that you can basically have a check in your corner. And then we throw them into this here, and they've got a pretty good DR score right now, I can tell you, but their UR score is not really that great. So that means that if you were to get your scores up, you know, you have a pretty good chance of beating them. And then over here we have referring domains and backlinks, and this is what is helping to get this score so high. And we can actually take a look at what referring domains they have and see if any of them would be good for us as well. I would probably ignore all these smaller ones, and even this one. I think this is the only one that, well, oh, and this one. These two might be helpful. But like I said, they have to be relevant for it to really be helpful. Or at least it's extra nice if they're relevant. So just keep that in mind before going and getting these. But a lot of times you can click on them, go find out more about this site, and then see if you can get your business listed as well. But that's still not quite as fun as this right here. So I'm clicking on their organic keywords, and now I see what they have, what they're showing up for, which is cool. So Denver brick, that's one I didn't even think of. That is 100 people searching for it. It does have a KD of 12, which is a little higher than we like to go for. But you can see how we come in here and we find some that are fun. And just in case I didn't explain it earlier, I can't quite remember, but I want to make sure to really, really touch on this because it's very important. See how this says patio pavers Denver? That is a good keyword. The reason being that it has something you do in the area that you do it. Something like landscape pavers near me, it's got a high volume, so that's great. But of this, you know, this volume is of everyone searching for it all over the United States. So of those 250, how many of those people are statistically going to be in Denver, happen to be there, or interested in hiring for the Denver area? It's very unlikely. Most likely those people are going to be in either Chicago, New York, or LA, because those are the places that most people live. So you don't really want to go after these landscapers near me. If someone happens to be near you and you are showing up for landscape pavers Denver, this near me is going to basically be the same as the word Denver. So that's really what you want to go after. So that's kind of my last little tip for you. And this is the end of my presentation. Here's my phone number and my email address. Please feel free to reach out to me with any questions that you have. I would also really love that feedback on this, just letting me know if I did okay, if I was clear and if I was helpful. Just a real quick recap before I head out. You want to increase the relevant content on your website, 3,000 more words on the home page, 1,500 or more on the other pages. You want to implement backlinks in order to rank for high volume keywords. Like Pavers Denver, and you want to add citations, your name, address, and phone number to directories across the internet in order to boost your GMB or Google My Business listing up into the map pack and drive more potential clients to your website. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Okay, bye.